Have your erections changed over the years? Slower, weaker, or simply gone when you wake up? It's not just about what happens in the bedroom. For many men over 60, it starts quietly. Mornings that feel empty. A kind of silence where there used to be a spark. Most don't talk about it. Some try to laugh it off. Others bury it under work or routine. But deep down, there's that unspoken thought. Maybe my best days are over. I've sat across from hundreds of men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s. Good men. Men who've built careers, raised families, and carried the weight of responsibility for decades. And almost every time I've had to tell them the same truth. You're not broken, and you're not past your prime. The real issue isn't just testosterone. It's that your circulation has quietly slowed down, starving the very system that makes an erection possible. The part almost no one tells you? This can be fixed, naturally, without pills or surgery. Often, it starts with something so simple you might overlook it. A food you can buy at any supermarket, used at the right time, in the right way. In the next few minutes, I'll show you why this change happens, the science that explains it, and the real stories of men who've turned it around, sometimes in just weeks. You'll learn how to start your mornings in a way that brings back energy, confidence, and connection without turning your life upside down. Stay with me, because by the time we finish, you'll see that the man you remember is still here, and he's been waiting for you to call him back. 1. The hidden reason strength fades after 60. It's not age that's stealing your sexual performance. It's a hidden shift inside your body that most men never hear about. For decades, the story has been simple. You get older, things slow down, and that's just the way it is. But the truth is far more hopeful. In most cases, fading erections aren't the result of a clock you can't turn back. They're the result of something you can change. The key is blood flow. Specifically, how much oxygen-rich blood can reach the smallest vessels in your lower body. That process depends on a natural chemical your body makes called nitric oxide. In your younger years, your nitric oxide levels were high. Blood moved freely, quickly, without effort. But after 60, those levels can drop by more than half. Arteries stiffen, vessel walls lose flexibility, and without that strong surge of circulation, even the healthiest man can feel a quiet loss of strength and confidence. When blood flow weakens, the effects ripple out beyond the bedroom. It can affect your energy in the morning, your mood during the day, even how you connect with the person beside you at night. Most men never get told this is reversible. They're left believing it's just part of aging, and so they stop looking for answers. I've seen this play out in many lives. One of them was Frank, a 68-year-old retired firefighter. Years of service had kept him fit, but in the last 2 years, he noticed mornings felt flat, and intimacy didn't come as naturally. He avoided talking about it, thinking maybe his time had passed. When we spoke, I explained how restoring nitric oxide, and with it, healthy circulation, could change everything. For Frank, the turning point came from a simple, consistent morning change. Within weeks, his mornings felt different. Not just physically, there was a light in his eyes, a return of quiet pride. He hadn't taken a shortcut, he'd given his body the signal it was waiting for. That signal had been missing for too long. If you've noticed similar changes, know this: you're not broken and you're not done. Your body is still capable, still responsive. With the right support, you can bring back more than you expect. Strength, connection, and the confidence that comes from feeling alive in your own skin again. If this truth speaks to you, drop a 1 in the comments. I read them, and your words may be the encouragement another man needs today. 2.
The one food that changes everything. Sometimes the most powerful solution hides in plain sight. In this case, it's a food you've probably walked past in the grocery store 100 times without thinking twice. Yet for men over 60 struggling with blood flow and fading erections, it can be a quiet game changer. That food is beetroot, or simply beets. Not the canned, overly sweet slices you might remember from a school lunch tray, but fresh, deep red beets packed with natural nitrates. These nitrates are the raw material your body uses to create nitric oxide, the chemical messenger that tells your arteries to relax and let blood flow freely. Here's why that matters. Erections depend on a rush of oxygen-rich blood into the smallest vessels of the lower body. Without it, performance feels weak, inconsistent, or disappears entirely. When you add nitrates from beets to your routine, you're helping your body make more nitric oxide, the very thing that time has been quietly taking away. Sam, a 72-year-old retired gardener, had never given beets a second thought. He'd grown them for years, mostly to give away to friends, but rarely ate them himself. When we spoke, he was frustrated. His mornings felt sluggish, his energy dipped by midday, and intimacy had become something he avoided. I suggested a simple experiment. Start each morning with fresh beet juice or a small serving of roasted beets. Nothing else in his routine had to change. Within the first week, Sam noticed something subtle. His hands and feet felt warmer, and he moved through his chores with less fatigue. By week 2, mornings began with a sense of readiness he hadn't felt in years. His confidence grew with each passing day, not because he believed in a magic cure, but because he could feel his body responding. Beets aren't a quick fix. They're a natural support system. They work with your body, not against it. And when you give your system what it needs, results can build steadily and last. The beauty of this is in its simplicity. No complicated recipes, no expensive supplements. Just a fresh, affordable vegetable that works with your biology. If the idea of something this ordinary changing your morning sounds unlikely, I understand. But stay with me. In the next step, I'll show you exactly what happens inside your body when you eat beets, and why timing is the key to unlocking their full power. 3. What happens in your body when you eat it? Beets may look simple, but the changes they set in motion inside your body are anything but. When you take that first bite or sip of beet juice, you're doing more than just eating a vegetable. You're triggering a process that can restore blood flow in ways many men over 60 have forgotten were possible. Here's how it works, in plain English. Beets are rich in dietary nitrates. As you chew, friendly bacteria on your tongue begin converting those nitrates into nitrites. Once swallowed, your stomach and bloodstream take over, transforming the nitrites into nitric oxide. This tiny, invisible gas tells your blood vessels to relax and open, allowing oxygen-rich blood to move where it's needed most. When you were younger, your body made plenty of nitric oxide on its own, but after 60, production can drop by more than half. That's why it takes longer to feel ready, why erections aren't as firm or consistent, and why your energy might fade faster. Beets step in to fill that gap, not artificially, but by giving your body the exact fuel it needs to make nitric oxide naturally. Walter, a 70-year-old retired postal worker, once told me he thought cold hands and feet were just part of getting older. He also noticed mornings felt quiet, without the kind of responsiveness he remembered. When he started adding a small glass of beet juice to his breakfast, he didn't expect much. But within 5 days, his hands felt warmer. A few days later, he noticed mornings seemed more awake, as he put it, and that feeling carried into the rest of his day. This isn't magic, it's biology. Better circulation means more oxygen and nutrients reaching every part of your body, Your brain, your heart, your muscles, and yes, the sensitive tissues that make intimacy possible. And there's a bonus. Nitric oxide also helps protect blood vessels from damage, reduces inflammation, and supports healthy blood pressure over time. Think of it as waking up a system that's been running on half power. You don't need to overhaul your life, just add one small habit that tells your body, it's time to work again. If you've ever wondered whether a natural change could make a real difference, the answer is yes. In the next step, I'll share stories from men who've seen this science come to life and how it transformed not just their mornings, but their sense of themselves. If this clear picture of what's happening inside speaks to you, drop a 3 in the comments. I'd love to know it made sense.
4. Real men, real results. Science is convincing, but nothing speaks louder than the voices of men who've lived it. Over the years, I've watched the numbers in a study become real faces, real mornings, and real changes that ripple far beyond the bedroom. One of those men is Howard, 67, a retired high school teacher. When he first came to me, he spoke quietly, as if admitting weakness was somehow unmanly. He hadn't experienced a full natural erection in over 9 months. His energy was patchy, and the easy closeness he once had with his wife felt distant. 2 weeks after starting a simple morning beet routine, he called my office just to say, "It's back." There was no bravado in his voice, just relief and a hint of wonder. Then there's Miguel, 73, a former Navy mechanic. Years of physical labor had left him strong, but not immune to the quiet changes of age. For him, it wasn't just about sexual performance. It was about feeling alert and steady throughout the day. Adding beets to his mornings didn't just improve his blood flow, it steadied his blood pressure and lifted his afternoon energy. He joked that he was getting more done in the yard than he had in years. And I'll never forget Clarence, 80, a retired pastor. His focus was on connection. "It's not about the act itself," he told me. "It's about the way my wife looks at me when she knows I'm still here." For him, restoring circulation restored more than intimacy. It restored presence. The common thread in all these stories isn't luck, it's consistency. Each man made a small daily choice to give his body the signal it needed. In return, they experienced what so many think is gone forever: vitality, energy, and a renewed sense of self-worth. When you hear stories like these, it's not about comparing yourself to someone else. It's about remembering that your body hasn't stopped listening. It's waiting for you to speak to it through your actions. In the next step, I'll show you why timing those actions, especially in the morning, can make all the difference between a small improvement and a life-changing shift.
5. Timing is everything. When it comes to restoring blood flow and sexual performance, when you act can be just as important as what you do. Your body has rhythms, natural highs and lows throughout the day, and learning to work with them can turn a small habit into a powerful change. Morning is your golden window. Testosterone levels are at their daily peak, your blood vessels are most responsive, and your body is primed to absorb nutrients efficiently. This is when dietary nitrates from beets can be converted into nitric oxide most effectively, setting the stage for better circulation, not just in the moment, but for the entire day. I remember Earl, 66, a semi-retired carpenter. He was skeptical about health routines, saying he didn't have the patience for complicated steps. But when he learned he could simply drink a small glass of beet juice before breakfast, no elaborate prep, no expensive supplements, he agreed to try. Within 10 days, he noticed a difference in his morning energy and, to his surprise, in his responsiveness during intimacy. He told me, "It's like my body wakes up twice, once in my head and once everywhere else." Why does morning work so well? Because your circulatory system is already in a state of readiness. Overnight, your body has been resting, repairing and balancing hormone levels. By feeding it what it needs at that moment, you're amplifying its natural repair cycle. Waiting until later in the day often means competing with heavy meals, stress hormones, and fatigue, all of which blunt the nitric oxide effect. Consistency is also critical. Even the right timing won't deliver lasting results if it's random. Think of it like showing up for an appointment with your body. The more often you keep it, the more your body trusts and responds. Earl didn't just stick to the routine, he began to enjoy it. He'd sit by the kitchen window, sip his juice, and watch the neighborhood come alive. It became a moment of calm, a reminder that he was doing something for himself before the demands of the day took over. That mental shift, starting the day with intention, was just as valuable as the physical benefits. If you want to give your body the best chance to respond, start in the morning. Treat it as a daily commitment, not a chore. In the next step, we'll talk about something equally important: what not to eat in those first hours, so you don't undo all your hard work before it even gets started. If this idea of seizing your best window in the day makes sense to you, drop a 5 in the comments. I want to hear how your mornings work now.
6. What not to eat in the morning. Adding the right foods to your morning can transform your circulation, but pairing them with the wrong ones can quietly undo much of the progress. The truth is, your first meal of the day sets the tone for your hormones, blood vessels, and energy levels, and certain common breakfast choices work directly against the nitric oxide boost you're trying to build. One of the biggest offenders? Processed breakfast meats like bacon, sausage, and deli ham. These are packed with sodium and preservatives that constrict blood vessels, making it harder for oxygen-rich blood to reach the lower body. The result? The very system you're trying to revive gets slowed before it can even respond. Refined carbs are another silent saboteur. White toast, sugary pastries, muffins. They spike your insulin, crash your testosterone, and leave you with a slump in both energy and sexual performance. And let's not forget coffee. While a small cup can be fine, too much caffeine on an empty stomach raises cortisol, your main stress hormone, which tightens blood vessels and works against improved blood flow. Marvin, 69, a retired bus driver, came to me after trying beet juice for 3 weeks with little change. When we looked at his mornings, we found the problem. He was washing down his beets with strong coffee and a plate of bacon. Once he replaced those with a boiled egg, half an avocado, and whole grain toast, the shift was dramatic. Within days, he felt lighter in the mornings, and within 2 weeks, his intimacy returned in a way he thought was gone for good. The lesson here is simple. The first hour of your day should be about supporting your blood vessels, not blocking them. Foods high in healthy fats, lean proteins, and complex carbs work with the nitric oxide process instead of against it. Think of your breakfast as the launch pad for your entire day. Start clean, and every system, from your heart to your lower body, has a better chance of performing at its best. In the next step, we'll look at why morning isn't just a good time, it's the most important time for reclaiming your strength, and how that mental shift can be just as powerful as the physical changes.
7. Why morning matters more than you think. Morning isn't just the start of your day. For men over 60, it's a unique biological window where your body is primed for restoration. Your testosterone levels are at their peak, your blood vessels are more responsive, and your mind is clearer before the weight of the day settles in. This is the moment when your actions can have the most powerful impact on your blood flow and overall vitality. When you start your morning with intention, feeding your body nutrients that boost nitric oxide, moving gently to get circulation going, and avoiding the foods that block progress, you're stacking the odds in your favor. Over time, this isn't just about better erections, it's about rebuilding the trust between you and your body. Hank, 72, a former long-haul truck driver, once told me mornings used to feel like a slow climb uphill. He'd roll out of bed stiff, reach for a pot of coffee, and push through the day on momentum alone. When he decided to change his first hour, starting with beet juice, a short walk, and a lighter breakfast, the difference surprised him. Not only did intimacy return, but his energy lasted longer into the evening. He said, "It's like I'm finally driving my own rig again instead of just riding along." There's also a psychological shift here. Beginning the day with a positive, health-focused action sets the tone for every decision that follows. You feel more in control, more purposeful, and less likely to fall back into habits that slow you down. Skipping this window, on the other hand, often means fighting uphill against fatigue, stress hormones, and less efficient nutrient absorption. It's not that improvements are impossible later in the day, but why work harder for less result? The men who've seen the biggest transformations are the ones who commit to a morning ritual and treat it like an appointment they can't miss. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Every morning you show up for yourself, you're reinforcing the signal your body needs to keep improving. In the next step, we'll talk about the timeline, what you can realistically expect in the first few days, weeks, and beyond, so you can track progress without guessing. If you're ready to claim your mornings and make them work for you, drop a 7 in the comments. I'd like to know you're with me on this.
8. The timeline for results. One of the most common questions I hear from men is, how long until I feel a difference? It's a fair question. When you've been living with low energy, weaker erections, and fading confidence, you want to know if change is actually possible. The good news is, with the right habits, you can often feel signs of progress sooner than you think. In the first few days, the changes are subtle. You might notice your face looks a little brighter, your mind feels clearer, or it's easier to get moving in the morning. These small shifts are your circulatory system starting to wake up, responding to the increase in nitric oxide and better blood flow. By day 4 or 5, many men report warmer hands and feet, a sign that oxygen-rich blood is reaching the extremities more efficiently. Some feel a little more energy in the afternoon and even sleep more soundly at night. Around the week mark, something important can happen: the return of a natural morning erection. It's not forced, not from a pill, just your body remembering how to respond. For some, this moment alone is enough to restore hope. By 2 weeks, improvements tend to be more consistent. You might notice firmer responses during intimacy, steadier energy throughout the day, and even small drops in blood pressure. Your body is adapting to the new routine, and each day builds on the last. At the 30-day point, changes can feel like a new baseline. This is when men often tell me, "I feel like myself again." The combination of physical improvement and renewed confidence can spill into every area of life: relationships, hobbies, even social interactions. Doug, 75, experienced exactly this. After years of thinking his best days were behind him, he committed to the routine. Within a week, he saw the first signs. By a month, his posture was straighter, his laugh louder, and his eyes brighter. He said, "It's not just about sex, it's about feeling alive again." Remember, this isn't a race. Your body's pace may be faster or slower, and that's okay. The key is consistency, giving your system the steady signal it needs to keep improving. In the next step, we'll talk about the deeper meaning behind this habit, how it can help rebuild not just your performance, but your identity.
9. The morning ritual that rebuilds identity. For many men, the return of sexual performance is only the beginning. The deeper transformation comes from what that change represents. Proof that your body still listens, still responds, and still belongs to you. A simple morning ritual can become more than a habit. It can be a quiet declaration that you haven't given up. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming the grounded confidence that comes from knowing your body will answer when you ask it to. When you sit down each morning with your beet juice, take a short walk, or prepare a clean breakfast, you're not just feeding your circulation. You're telling yourself, "I still matter."
Ray, 74, a widower for several years, told me he had slipped into what he called quiet retreat. He went through the motions of daily life, but avoided social gatherings, hobbies, and even conversations that might lead to deeper connection. When he committed to his morning ritual, beet juice at sunrise, a slow walk through the neighborhood, and a few deep breaths by his front porch, something began to shift. After 3 weeks, he wasn't just feeling stronger physically, he was calling old friends, taking his granddaughter to the park, and showing up to church again. The act of starting your day with intention sends a signal deeper than muscle or blood vessels. It touches your identity. It says, I am the kind of man who shows up for himself. And over time, that belief changes the way you carry yourself, the way others respond to you, and the way you experience life. Even small, consistent rituals can anchor you when the rest of life feels unpredictable. They provide structure, purpose, and a daily reminder that your health is worth protecting. The men who embrace this shift often tell me they feel a sense of control they haven't felt in years, and that feeling fuels them to keep going. In the next step, we'll explore the final piece of the puzzle, the mindset that turns short-term gains into lasting restoration. If the idea of building a ritual that strengthens both your body and your identity resonates with you, drop a 9 in the comments. I'd love to hear what your mornings look like now.
10. The final key to long-term restoration. By now, you've seen how improving blood flow, boosting nitric oxide, and building a consistent morning ritual can bring back strength, energy, and intimacy. But there's one more piece that decides whether these changes last: your mindset. A lot of men think of health changes as a temporary fix. You try something, get results, then slowly slip back into old patterns. The problem isn't the method, it's the way we frame it. If you see your morning beet juice or clean breakfast as a trial run, you'll stop as soon as life gets busy. But if you see it as part of who you are now, a non-negotiable appointment with yourself, the results can stick for years. Charlie, 70, understood this the hard way. After 3 months of great progress, he took a break during a busy holiday season. Within weeks, the energy faded and old frustrations crept back. That was when he realized the habit itself was the real success. It wasn't just what Beets did for his circulation. It was how the daily act anchored his day, focused his choices, and reminded him he was worth the effort. When he restarted, Charlie approached it differently. No more, I'll see if this works. Instead, it became, this is what I do, this is who I am. And that shift kept him consistent even during stressful weeks. The benefits returned, but this time they stayed. Mindset matters because your body listens to patterns, not exceptions. Consistency reinforces the signal to keep vessels open, hormones balanced, and energy flowing. Missing a day here and there won't undo everything, but treating the habit as optional will slowly erode the progress you've built. Long-term restoration isn't about perfection, it's about loyalty to yourself. Showing up, even on the days you don't feel like it, is how you prove to your body that you're serious. And the reward isn't just physical performance, it's the quiet confidence of knowing you can count on yourself. In the conclusion, we'll bring everything together, the science, the stories, and the steps, so you can take action starting tomorrow morning and keep it for life.
You've learned that the real reason so many men over 60 struggle with weaker erections isn't just about testosterone. It's about circulation and the silent drop in nitric oxide that happens with age. You've seen how something as simple as beetroot, taken at the right time, can restore blood flow, revive energy, and bring back confidence. You've heard from men who've made the change, not with complicated routines or expensive treatments, but with one consistent morning habit that turned into a turning point in their lives. You've also learned what to avoid, why timing matters, and how a ritual can rebuild not just your performance, but your identity. Now, the choice is yours. You don't need the perfect moment or the perfect plan. You have what you need to begin tomorrow morning. A small, steady act of care can create a ripple effect that touches every part of your life, your energy, your relationships, your sense of self. No matter how many birthdays you've had, that strong, capable man you remember is still there. He's waiting for you to give him the signal to return. Start tomorrow, keep going. And if this message has given you hope, share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe so we can take this journey together. Your next chapter starts with the sunrise.